CS2 just went ahead and dropped the first ever operation. There's so much to break down, starting off with the pass right here. Now, the pass system is completely different than what we've seen in the past. First up here, you can buy 5 different passes. That's going to be coming to an $80 total, but we need to make a lot of different things before this. First up, one pass is going to get you 40 credits. 40 credits is the equivalent of what we saw previously as stars. Therefore, 40 credits, 40 stars, they're the same thing. When we come down to what we can buy with these, we can spend 2 of them on a case, 4 of them on an operation collection skin, or miscellaneous items, which we'll get to in a quick second. For these passes, I would highly recommend, if you can afford to, buy all 5 of the passes, because they are going to be working together simultaneously. Therefore, you can grind all 5 at once, and you're going to want to grind out these passes because you cannot buy stars, which is a huge change for this operation. Skinland is today's sponsor, and they're giving you a $10 bonus with code MasterShiny just to try them out. They're my go-to selling spot with the highest rate for sellers, and it's super easy to use. They're going to be currently the best option, paying over 100% when you use that $10 bonus. They're super trusted when it comes to transactions, and it took me just about 2 minutes for me to get my over $200 from this Emerald Jormungandr. They've got tons of different payout options, and they're also going to be having a super low fee buyers marketplace. It's super easy, tons of deals cheaper than Steam, and tons of different deposit options. This deal won't last forever. Make sure you check them out today with that top link in the description. Now, before we get into everything about the operation, agents are not included inside of this operation. Therefore, we're seeing a lot of the prices of previous agents absolutely skyrocket. Now, be very careful inside of this area because it's very possible this is a hype, but the fact is they're not returning, so take that as what you will. Now, coming down to the first thing, which is going to be the gallery case. Now, the gallery case is going to be consisting of the kukri knives, the same finishes as what we saw previously for the kilowatt case. Now, when we look at the skins inside of it, it's not going to be anything too crazy. A lot of them are relatively decent. These are your blue skins we're scrolling through here. Now we're starting to get into the purples and so on and so forth. Overall, decent looking skins. They've got some okay things, but the biggest thing is the case itself, and that's because it's a very unique case. Obviously, it's an operation case, which means theoretically it's going to be discontinued, but there's a huge caveat that comes with this case, and that's the fact that it is really hard to obtain because you cannot buy credits or stars. You're going to be able to grind out this pass to get these cases, but there's no other way. That's the only way you're going to be able to get these cases. If they're going to be discontinued or they're not, we don't necessarily know, but it's going to be a really expensive case guaranteed because you have to grind out the stars to get this pass, and that's the only way you're going to be able to get this case. It's going to be really expensive long term, so please keep that in mind, that this case theoretically is going to be having a very high price point. Then we have the graphic collection, which is the first of the 3 brand new operation collections that were coming in with the armory here. Now, I definitely want to make it very clear, these are going to be expensive skins just because it's so hard to get these items. If you want to look at it, for $16 you can earn 40 credits. That's only going to get you 10 collection skins, but there's once again a big caveat. There is no gray skins that come along with this collection, meaning that it's probably going to be relatively expensive for a lot of these skins, but it's not going to be insanely expensive because your odds of getting a red here are significantly better than previous operations. Looking at the sport infield collection, it's the exact same thing as what we just saw with the graphic collection. There is no gray skins, which means your odds of getting those top tier skins are going to be a little bit better, but it's definitely not going to be easy. For this one, the sport infield, in my personal opinion, is going to be the most expensive and most desired because it's going to be very popular. It's got the M4A1S fade, and it's also got some other decent looking skins along the way. Both of the pinks look really good. I definitely will say people are going to be flocking to this one, so it's probably going to be expensive if we see enough demand, but we don't want to push it to the point where we see too much demand, too much supply out there, and it starts to get a little less expensive. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on this one. Now, talking about the Overpass collection, it's once again the same as the previous 2 in terms of a lot of aspect. It's got no gray skins, and it's going to be obviously 4 credits to go ahead and obtain, but this one's a little bit different. Obviously, if you look at the skins, they're going to be relatively the same. Obviously, they're just collection skins. If you want to see them, they're scrolling in the background now, and I definitely think they're cool, but there's one big caveat that comes with the Overpass collection, and that's going to be the fact that the Overpass collection is currently inside of the game in a souvenir package for Copenhagen, for Paris, and many others. Now, these cases have absolutely exploded overnight just because people are really in demand for them right now. It's hyped. It's definitely the place to be, but I don't necessarily think it's going to be the best pickup. If we want to look at it, the old Overpass collection was really bad. It was really low in demand, and overall there was just not a covert skin, which was not profitable for Valve. We knew they were going to change it. I definitely would say keep your eye on it, but I would not be picking up any of the souvenir packages for the old Overpass. It's definitely something that's interesting, but not profitable. And then we've got charms. Now, for coming to charms, we've got 2 different sets. First up, we're going to be talking about the missing link charms, which are really kind of looking like mashed potatoes, or they're little sausages. I don't even know what they are. They don't look very cool in my personal opinion, but these are going to be your common, what you're going to be thinking of for charms. Now, charms are going to be the same as gun buddies. They're going to be going on the side of the weapon and just kind of hanging off. They're like keychains. I definitely don't think these are going to be the most impressive, but they have potential when we're talking about things like patches. Patches didn't seem like they had very much potential during the time, and obviously because of the scarcity around them, they blew up in price. I don't know how long the armory items are going to be sticking around in shop. We're going to get to that in a little bit, but you've got the option for the missing link charms, or you've got the small arms charms. Now for these, it's definitely going to be a lot more of what you're thinking about with the traditional charm. They're going to be a lot more of those weapon finishes or some of the knives. I think it's going to be a very similar argument. Once again, I don't think they look good. I'm not a fan of them, but it comes down to the argument of, is there going to be enough demand right now to supply a decent amount of them, and are they going to end up profitable? I think it's going to be a lot of wait and see inside of this area, so keep your eyes on it, but I would not be spending my stars on these right now. Then we get to our stickers. We've got two different categories. We've got the elemental and we've got the character. Starting off with our elemental, these are a lot of profitable stickers in my personal opinion. If we can get into a lot of these at a super cheap price point, I think a lot of them have huge craft demand potential, which means a lot of potential for investing. Now obviously we're not making any investments yet. We're not even talking about that as a real strong possibility, but these are stickers that I think a lot of them have very strong potential down the line if they come in at a super cheap price point. There's so much possibility inside of this area. Talking about the next area, which is going to be those character craft stickers. These ones for me don't contain a lot of demand. It's going to be coming down to the fact of, is the supply there? Is the demand there during the operation time? Once again, we can go back at what we talked about with Riptide stickers. It really comes down to the fact of, is there enough of them out there that is going to be supplying these long term? Because the supply is probably going to be cut off once this operation or the armory actually ends. Now, if you're looking for the best situation to go ahead and make profit off of this or guarantee yourself some profit, I can nearly guarantee you if you're going to go ahead and take your credits and buy cases. This is going to be the number one hands down way. You're going to be taking those cases and selling them off on the market. Because of this, people are really limited on the amount of cases out there right now because you can't buy credits. You have to grind them out. Therefore, cases are going to be going for a very expensive price point. I think it's going to be a huge opportunity for nearly anyone that gets in on this early enough. Go ahead, grind out your pass, get the cases and sell them off. I think it's a great opportunity. For the first time ever in an operation, there is a quote unquote limited edition item. This is going to be this deagle that looks kind of like a case hardened. We don't know specifically. The biggest thing I want to point out about this is it says it's available for 103 days. We have a guaranteed timeline of theoretically how long the armory is going to be sticking around. As for the item itself, I don't really know how impactful it's going to be. If you can sell it on the market, it might be an interesting thing, but if it's stuck in your inventory, I would personally avoid it. Now, talking about those huge changes, first up, you cannot buy credits. I personally think this is a huge change and definitely something that needs to be addressed, but the next biggest thing is going to be the fact that we have a 7-day remarket restriction. Now, what does that exactly mean? First up, anything you get from this operation needs to wait 7 days. That's the first time we've ever seen this. Usually, if you unbox an item, you could instantly sell it. Not anymore. And anytime you buy an item off the market, you have to wait 7 days before you can resell it. This makes a lot of flipping opportunities not really there. Trade-ups, once again, is also going to be very tough. Otherwise, there's this whole list of things at the bottom of the overall Steam page coming in the release notes, but those are going to be the biggest ones that I'm looking at right now. Overall, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.